Good afternoon, folks. It's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show, and I'm Gary.
And I am Mark.
And we're coming to you, not live.
But we are alive.
Yes, we are.
And where are we alive today, Gary?
Boy, we are alive at Iron Key Brewing in Columbus, North Carolina.
We are, and we're talking a town of 1,000 people. It's my hometown. It's not my hometown. It's where I live now. But I'm excited to be able to say this small town has its own brewery. And the location of it is, former use of it's quite unusual. Yeah. But before we get to that, Gary, you got any dates in history about this time?
We'll go through a few.
Just a few here.
October 18, 1858.
Okay.
John Brown's raid in Harper's Ferry.
I wasn't there.
No, me neither.
But I know what it was.
Let's do happier stuff.
Okay, happier stuff. It didn't go well for John Brown.
October 18th, 1954.
I can't believe you have these memorized.
Texas Instruments releases the first commercially kind of available transistor radio. Cost $49.95. That's a lot of money in 1954.
And I had a transistor radio. Had no clue who made it, but I bet some of our listeners may not have had that experience.
Yep.
You ever had one, our guest?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
What else?
1968. John Lennon and Yoko Ono were busted in London for possession of marijuana. Imagine that.
Was that the first time?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
And then we'll do one more.
Okay.
Moved October 20.
Okay.
The premiere on Broadway of the play No Time for Sergeants, starring North Carolina's own Andy Griffith.
And I saw that play, but not on Broadway. I saw it in Charlotte with someone else. But I remember seeing that as a stage play. That was fun.
Wow, that was 1955. So while that was going on, this building that we're near was still a state prison.
So we are in what used to be a state penitentiary in North Carolina, and it is now this brewing company. But before we get to that, before we forget, we have a CD to give away. I kind of cracked the cover, but it's brand new.
Yeah.
From a band called Two Drink Minimum out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Who grew up in Tupelo?
Besides
Scott Reed.
Scott Reed, Elvis.
Elvis Presley.
So
Scott Reed's a friend of ours. He was on the show about 6 weeks ago or so, and he gave us one of these to give away. It's great music, part covers and part original stuff. And so all you have to do is be the first one, because we only have usually one. First one that sends us an email at GaryandMarkShow@gmail.com. GaryandMarkShow@gmail.com. Well, we have with us today, it doesn't happen often, we've got a special guest. We have with us Chris Balliew, manager of Taproom Operations or something like that. Close enough. Iron Key Brewing Company here in downtown Columbus, North Carolina. So welcome to the show, Chris.
Thank you, sir.
Glad
to be here.
I'm glad these people out here eating or clapping. They're stopping and taking a look. Yeah, that's nice of them. Okay, y'all can settle down over there. Okay, quiet down. Okay. Well, thanks for letting us come here. And I'm telling you, this place is like 10 minutes from my house. And Gary, you drove how far to get here?
Oh, if I came direct, it might be more like 25 miles. It's all downhill.
It is.
Yeah.
That is. We're right off I-26.
And this is my second visit.
And it's my second visit. And I did a impromptu YouTube video on my The Country Life with Columbus Mark channel. So we'll link to that too. But we are in what truly was a state penitentiary. So we have with us Chris, who tell us a little bit about this brewery and yourself if you'd like.
No one probably wants to really hear too much about me, but...
well, were you ever an inmate here?
I was not. I've been locked up other places.
Okay. Well, that would be a good story, but we'll save that for another one. Okay.
As far as the prison's concerned, it was built from in 1932. In fact, we revamped the house that I live in, which is right beside the brewery. When we pulled off a piece of trim off the front door here, someone had actually signed and dated the piece of trim, and it was dated August 8th, 1932, I think.
Wow.
So this was actually the warden's house where I live.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And as far as the building's concerned, we took about a year and a half to do the renovations on it.
Wow.
We cut a big garage door in the side and put about 1,000 square foot patio out here. We're really proud of this building, all the work that went into it, and the partnership team is just fantastic.
And, you know, if our listeners are listening as a audio podcast, we do have an accompanying video on our YouTube channel, and we'll have photos. We'll put the photos on the show notes on the web and with the podcast. But if they come to our YouTube channel at Gary and Mark Show on YouTube, they'll see some of these pictures we've taken today, too, to get an idea what this place looks like.
Hey, wonderful.
So you opened up just...
Today makes 9 weeks, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been interesting so far. We've had our trials, some tribulations, but for the most part, it's been a joy. It truly has.
Well, tell us about some of your beers you brew here.
Okay, well, our most popular is by far the Saluda Road Pale Ale. It's a very, very easy drinking beer. It is named after the inmates here who actually built the Saluda Road, which is Highway 176 that runs to Saluda. And there's a reason that the brewery or the jail was right here beside the highway department. Well, that's the highway department used the inmates from here to work on the roads. That's by far not by far. The Big House IPA is actually catching up to it.
Big House IPA, I like that.
Yeah, it is. It's a very nice IPA. It's not one that's going to be overhopped. It is just it's a very good version, and Dave's really proud of that one.
And Dave is
our brewer, Dave Erb. He's been doing it for a while now. He actually had a brewery in Ohio as well. He actually sold his partnership in that to invest down here. So,
really,
yeah, I'm proud to have him.
And so, this was a big gamble.
Oh yeah,
because number one, you said it's been a year and a half in renovation. I had no clue that had been going on. And two, you opened up in the midst of this pandemic.
True. As far as the pandemic is concerned, you know, we were concerned, and I mean, who wouldn't be going into it? But we've went through and made the appropriate precautions. I feel we all wear masks. We have sanitizer located throughout the building, so we try to be very vigilant about sanitizing and ensuring that if something happened, we would not spread it.
So, is there any truth to the rumor if you come in without a mask, you go down to the solitary confinement?
No, we won't put someone in there, but we do require masks as soon as you hit the
Good
door.
for you. And a review I saw online bragged about how you all were really good at that, and the people who came in were observing that. I saw that, yeah.
And they even allow dogs here on this patio outside, and you have to come outside the building to get to it. But I noticed 3 dogs the other hours when we first got here to set up with masks on, and that's pretty impressive.
Mask on the dogs?
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. I mean, I have a video where I put a Depend incontinence underwear on my dog because I couldn't model it myself doing a review. But
we mask the dogs and muzzle us.
That's right.
Right.
So, and they do have, I've got a picture of Gary in the solitary confinement. Describe that place, Gary.
Well, it's kind of solitary. Actually, there are 2. So I guess you could have 2 people in there at the same time. But my only, all I could remember was the Cool Hand Luke movie where you spend a night in the box.
And
this was a little, you got a sink, you got a toilet, and you got I guess, steel. Is that a steel bed?
It is a steel plate for a bed.
Yeah.
And those were the original locks? You had them opened up by a locksmith or something.
I had a locksmith come out and pull those off. I couldn't get the key to turn in them.
Did you have the key?
I do. I got it in my pocket right now.
Well, hold that key up for our viewers here, and I'll take a picture of just the key.
There it is, the Iron Key.
The Iron Key. And you can get T-shirts here, and I see a dog walking station
over there.
Nah. To the camera. Yeah, you can walk. No, you better not undo that. We'll get a picture of it and put it on, but you can hold that up.
Yeah.
So the A stood, what was that name of the keysmith?
That was their symbol for their company. It was Folger Adams, and the A stands for the Adams. I tried to do a little bit of research on it online. This one, I believe, was actually made in Richmond. If I had my glasses on, I could probably tell you.
Well, I got mine on. So it says Roanoke Iron and Bridge Works, Roanoke, Virginia.
Wow.
Man, so that thing's 30 since the 30s too.
Yes, that's one of the original keys for the place.
Wow. And so, tell us about the other buildings. I mean, so tell us about the big house or whatever this was called, the brick building.
As in,
so that's where the prisoners were.
Oh, that's exactly where the prisoners were. We think. Well, you can actually see where the original bars were, and the way we understand it, you had the original bars. They also had horizontal bars going in between those, and so you actually walked into a metal cage when you walked into the building. We think there was about 40 prisoners on either side, so it's very hard to get any information about this because there's still some of these operating as prisons today. There were 51 of these built in North Carolina, or commissioned to be built. And like I said, some are still operating to this day as prisons. So they will not release any information. You can't get blueprints. You can't get anything.
Do they look similar to this in style?
Very much so.
So that's the big house. We saw solitary
house.
Confinement.
Mm-hmm.
Laundry was down there. I know people can't see it on radio, but we're just giving them a description. This building over here was?
That was the mess hall. So we will take that. We'll turn that into an event center.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
So you could come in, bring a party, family reunion, whatever, a rehearsal dinner, whatever, to have a party here on grounds.
You know what? You could do an actual wedding here. That'd be kind of cool.
The mess hall reminds me. I grew up in Kentucky. Reminds me very much of a Camp Earl Wallace. It was a junior conservation camp that had been repurposed. Originally, it was built CCC. And then in World War II, it was a training camp. But yeah, that's got all the romance of kind of the. Looks pretty good.
Well, I had my wife's nephew had a wedding at the zoo. No, I guess he had a reception party at the Columbia Zoo one time, Riverbank Zoo. So I could see someone actually getting married and say, "Where'd you get married?" Oh, the old state pen or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Dress up, little stripe uniform.
There you go. Well, you know what? And for some of them, that begins their prison sentence, I bet.
Yeah.
Not me, not you, Gary, and not Chris, I hope, but
No,
he's got a couple.
I'm very
kids.
good.
Okay, so I mean, I don't want to get any secrets from you, but are there any prisoners buried here?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay.
And not that anyone's ever said. So
if you start renovating and
well,
digging,
October 31, maybe.
that's right. That's right.
Zombie prisoners.
So, how of a sudden did a whole bunch of partners come up with this idea to start a brewery?
Well, it's something that Dave and I had discussed just on our own. And I had a friend that had a piece of property in actual downtown Tryon, and he wanted me to take a look at it. And I mentioned it to Dave, and he said, well, let's go take a look. It didn't work out, and that's fine. In fact, I'm sort of thankful it didn't work out.
Was it a building or a lot?
It was a building.
Okay.
So. It was a building. So we sort of let it go for a while once we knew that wasn't going to work out. And he said, I'm going to mention this to Bob. And Bob's our managing partner. And Bob sort of took off. I mean, he ran with it. And next thing you know, he's located, we looked at a building off 14 first. And that was within maybe a month that we even mentioned it to him. And we finally figured out that wasn't going to work for us. And then all of a sudden he calls me one day and he says, you need to come over and look at a piece of property. I said, okay.
I got a prison for you.
Exactly. And I show up and he says, what do you think? And he'd give me some of his, vision once he had found it. And I said, yes, it's impressive. And sure enough, next thing I know, the man, we've got the property and we're starting to work. And it's been, I'm not going to say it's been easy, but it's been very rewarding.
Any regrets?
Absolutely not. No, I'm proud to be with this team.
And I'm going to tell you, it's impressive. I mean, the beer was very good.
Beer's good. The fish and chips were great.
And we saw a hamburger. What'd you call that hamburger?
The Warden's Double.
The Warden's Double.
You better be hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I came out and people getting ready to eat are probably our age. I said, there's no way you even get it in his mouth. He finished that baby.
He did.
So you've themed a lot of things on this jailhouse or penitentiary theme, like names of the beers and names of some of the food. Do you have any of those off your top of your head? We had the conjugal Kolsch.
Conjugal Kolsch.
That was good. So any other names like that? You had the, what was that stout? What was that called? No. What was the?
Solitary Stout.
Solitary Stout.
You had the Penitentiary Porter.
Okay.
Slammer wheat.
Okay.
Yeah, and we already talked about Saluda Road and the Big House. So, did I say mention Lockup Lager?
No, you did now.
Well, that one's coming.
Okay.
We just rebrewed it, and of course, it being a lager, it's going to take a lot longer to ferment than some of the others. So,
well, I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, just so people know who want to find this place. What's the address? We'll put it on the website, but just offhand, what is the street address?
135 Locust Street here in Columbus.
Columbus, North Carolina, because there is no sign because they can't put one up.
Yeah.
So,
but I would tell folks, if you're driving through on the main drag, once you see the old water tower,
very old.
What is that, on the north side of the road, or what?
And that's Mills Avenue or something like that.
When you see that old water tower, look for a turn onto Locust.
Yeah, yeah. And it's easy to find. There's plenty of parking and stuff.
Oh.
And so just basically, we'll put this on the website, but you're open Wednesday through Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday.
And for lunchtime, only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday right now.
That is correct.
What time do you open on Sunday? Because someone was asking me.
At noon.
Okay.
Columbus has not passed the, ordinance that allows people to open up that serve alcohol or can't serve alcohol before noon. So we open up at noon when it's legal to serve.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do anything bad with the prison this close.
That's true. No. Very true.
Yeah, it'd be bad news. So, I'm going to ask, you already talked about favorite business. Food specialties. Yeah, what are some of your favorite foods here?
Well, my go-to is, he calls it the Asian chicken salad. Huh. And I blacken the chicken, and it's just a wonderful salad. Of course, the Warden's Double is ridiculously popular.
You need a nap room for people my age after the Warden's Double, so you could just, it looked good.
Yeah, but we try to do a special every week, so that's something that we'll announce. We'll put it on Facebook, so if you want to follow us on Facebook, we're on there as Iron Key Brewing, and we try to get that out every Friday. And
you got a nice patio out here with umbrellas, but when it gets cold, I mean, your dining room area in the big house is open, big tall ceilings, so people won't have to worry about breathing air from other people.
It is heated. We do have heaters in there.
Well,
and we have heaters on the porch as well.
Yeah.
So even at nighttime, we're still got people on the porch with the heaters.
I guess you could convert that little. You got a lot of spaces, a lot of buildings here.
We're actually working off of 3 acres right now. There's another 4 that is attached to it as well.
And there's dog friendly. We talked about that, but I see a dog cleanup station over there.
Sure do. Yeah.
And they got a list of rules for people and dogs when you come in. Well, what else should we know about you or this place?
Well, I don't think anyone would really be that much interested about me, but this place, I just hope people want to come out and experience it. I think once they experience it the first time, they'll get it and they'll want to come back.
I'm guaranteed they will. I mean, I saw a car from Florida, one from Connecticut, and plus I didn't pay that much attention trying to get in here. But people are finding it.
Yeah.
And you said you haven't even advertised yet.
Just not advertised at all.
Word of mouth and
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah. So
and you could go on to your website because there's the menus and list of beers and stuff there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, including ABVs and all that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So what's your highest octane brew then?
Oh, that'd be the Treacherous IPA. It's a black IPA. It's a double. He's got it listed at 8%.
So it's really 10, but he puts 8% for something.
No,
it is 8%.
It is 8%, and we only do a half pour of that one though. So just be aware of that if you order it.
But could you get a second half pour?
You could,
if you could walk out.
Well, then you got the solitary confinement.
And and the county sheriff office just down the road here, this direction, and the police department is just that direction. So,
well, we try to do the right thing and watch how much we serve individuals.
Well, I mean, you're doing a great job. And so, how big is your staff? I mean,
right now, I think we've got counted it yesterday. What was it? I want to say 18.
Wow.
Yeah. So, actually, I have to go after a few more people. So I've got a few more positions I need to look at filling.
Well, it looks like a great place to work. So if anybody's listening and they want to move to Columbus, you probably give them a free T-shirt if you work here, or you got to buy the
we give a T-shirt out to people that work for us.
Okay. Well, we had a nice wait person helped us.
Yes.
And
same, I can say that when I came here with Barbara.
Well, that's right.
Great time out on the patio.
I have to admit, I'm very proud of everybody that works for me and that's on the floor. They do a fantastic job.
They do. Everybody's friendly. It's just a neat little place here. We're outside here in October, middle of October, and it's comfortable.
It is.
Yeah, it's nice. But have you ever heard of the ISIL thermal belt that
Of
we're
course.
in? Okay, so supposedly for our listeners who live somewhere else, do you understand that, Gary?
Yeah, the temperature
Yeah.
inversion kind of thing. I mean, I barely made it through science.
Yeah, I think that's made up, though. But supposedly the temperature is
It's
moderate here year-round as opposed to extreme.
Yeah, a little longer growing season. This is the biggest crepe myrtle I've ever seen. I don't know.
It is a beautiful tree.
Yeah.
This was planted in the early 70s, and the bad thing is their life expectancy is about 50 years. So
Yeah.
it's right at 50 years.
You better
And
get.
that's-
We
I-
got plenty of
In the front,
trees.
that's a pin oak, isn't it? I think.
That is a pin oak. That is correct.
Yeah. I had one in my backyard. He's got, I don't know how old he is. He's probably 50, 60 years old. I guess he got planted after oh no.
Well, I thought you were talking
that's not
about
a-
Chris. You mean a tree? Oh,
No.
That's not a pin oak. I believe it's a black oak. I believe.
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
well, anyhow, we want to
Nice grounds.
It is nice grounds. You
Yeah.
can walk. You can walk. In fact, she said you could take your open beer and walk on the grounds as long as you
Absolutely.
stay in the fenced area. That would be a nice
Yeah.
thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't go into the solitary confinement because it's got to be unlocked. But Chris has the key. So.
I have the key.
And I've got unruly kids. You could probably lock them
Yeah,
up, and
there'd
parents
be-
can pick them up after they have their dinner. So, well, Chris, we want to thank you for having
Yes.
us here today.
Well, I want to thank you for having me.
Well,
It's
we
been
don't.
fun.
Well, and
Yeah.
we will be back, both maybe as hopefully as a podcast, but definitely as diners and consumers of IPAs and stuff.
Yes.
Well, we got some sponsors to thank. We're gonna say one of our new sponsors is Iron Key Brewing. in
Iron Key
Columbus.
Brewing, Columbus,
yeah, so
North
doesn't cost you
Carolina.
anything. So you're now a sponsor, but we have some
Yeah.
other sponsors. Who are they, Gary?
Oh, we got the Big Whizz Pocket Buddy.
You'd like that. That's a good app. I'll have to
Yeah,
tell you
yeah.
about that. Big Whizz Pocket Buddy.
Rabbit
You got
Island Resorts.
Rabbit Island Resort.
Just a hair better.
Just to hear better. We got L.J. Myers and his professional White Dove releases.
Yeah.
And our standby, Saluda Outfitters,
Salute Outfitters.
home of Green River Eddy's Taproom. However, now we got another brewery on here, and you actually make your beer. They just buy theirs. You make yours. So we want to thank you again, Chris, for being here.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, guys.
So our listeners, check out the YouTube version and also check us out on the web at www.garyandmark.com, where you too can be a sponsor for as little as $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anybody being a sponsor, but if you're embarrassed because it's
Doesn't
$1,
hurt
you
to
could
ask.
give us $5,
Yeah.
and because people are probably embarrassed to do that. So thanks again. This is episode number 40 of the Gary and Mark Show.
All right. See you later, Mark.
All right, it was fun, Gary.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, appreciate it a lot.
My pleasure.
All right, and we are